Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today, July 30th. We got Sniper J back in the booth. Sniper, it's been, 2 weeks since I last saw you. How are you? How are things?
Things are going well. Just trying to stay dry. It's raining down here in Louisiana. How are you doing?
Not dealing with the dry, or not trying to stay dry. I feel like Florida's in a bit of a drought. We are not getting our normal afternoon storms that I so much enjoy. So the ponds are a little bit okay, but all the retention ponds down here. I'm sure we'll get plenty of rain come October and the storms roll through. All right, so we're back on track, Sniper. We're going through the top three teams. Last week, without you here, I kept the ball rolling for just a moment at a time for my top three teams in the Big 12. So as a recap there, I had Texas Tech as my number three. I had Kansas as my number two, and I had Texas as my number one team. We could start there, Sniper, if you want to react to that, or if you have some takes that you want to give on who you think is your 1, 2, or 3. I'll let you take it in any way that you want.
Yeah, we're gonna start at number three. Let's just start at
Okay.
number three. We're gonna you might want to repick these after you hear mine. I mean, you might.
You're
At
that
number,
convincing, huh? You're that convincing.
yeah. We're going Oklahoma. We're going Suno Chopper and the boys, right?
Okay.
Um, Last year we looking at a 500-ish season. They're right around there. It's time for them to make that jump, and I think they're going to do it. They're bringing in more players. They're bringing in good talent. They're a solid number three pick. It's time for them to start winning. They won't know how to win at the highest level, but it's time for them to start winning, and I think they do that this year.
So Oklahoma was a team that I looked. I mean, there's not that many teams. There's 10 teams in the Big 12, so there's not that many to look at. But it was a team that I very seriously considered as my number three. And you say they're a young team. They don't know how to win, or they're going to learn how to win. This don't forget SMU. Five. No one has, I'm sure, but five freshmen on that SMU squad last season. I don't think Oklahoma can't be good. I just don't know how good they're going to be. I like the addition of Carson Cupworth, but the rest of that roster, is there a name that jumps out to you that says this is who I think? Because Suno Chapa had a really good freshman year. I think he's well positioned to be a first round pick potential as a sophomore after the sophomore season. I think he can maybe even stay for a third year and bump that up a little bit. But is there a guy on this roster of the people that they brought in that gives you that confidence?
No, it does not. I just think this is going to be just a really good basketball team, kind of like that Xavier team. Nobody really sticks out. Nobody has this, nobody has that. But coming off last year, they were able to find some momentum and find things that work for them. And now it's just with the new guys, they plug in, see who fits, plug out, see who doesn't fit, maybe change the lineup in the second lineup, not the first lineup. The first lineup's going to be just fine, and maybe they can figure out earlier in the season what they found out later in last season, and that's winning. And they could continue that and carry that into conference play, and who knows, might make a deep run in Hoopsteria.
My concern with them is not, again, that they're not going to be good enough, because it's just how quickly does it take for them to figure it out? And I think ultimately that's what's going to do it. And I think here's the benefit, right? You have non-conference play, which means next to nothing. If you're now, keep in mind, not you, anyone watching or listening. Top three contenders is not nationally; it's within the conference, right? So all the figuring it out in non-conference play really doesn't matter for conference play. It's
That's
about
true.
what you do there to get it done. I think my biggest concern or question mark is that age and how long does it take them to figure out. SMU kind of figured it out right away with that five freshman starting lineup. And I think that there's going to be a lot
Uh,
of teams. Well, they were a top 25 team for pretty much all the season, in and out of it, but in that range.
yeah, well, I would say it like this: we saw SMU that some the players early in the season had special games. Like I can tell you when Cam Jones went off. I can tell you when Maury Washington came on the scene, and we seen him be a point forward for a couple games. And then later in the year, they all just like came together at the right time. So I don't know if Oklahoma's going to be able to do that. I think they just have to be together and learn how to play together right from the jump. But it's definitely going to be come down to the strength of schedule, who they play, who they don't play, what contenders they play against early, just to test what they really got, and
Mm-hmm.
what teams they could beat up on and really find some momentum.
All right, you're number two. So again, my number three was Texas Tech, and I don't need to
Yeah,
regurgitate my talking point. So you're number two.
yeah, well, yeah. I'm going K State.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going K State. I'm going completely different than you. I think our number one is the same, but I think Kansas State. I don't know why. I really don't like purple. I really don't know nothing about the
It's just
team,
it's the
but
color.
I I just feel like Kansas State is bound to have a good year this year. And this is just, I haven't looked at the roster. I really don't care. I don't know who's on the team, Marsh. But look,
It's
they
just
were
gut
four.
feeling here.
Yeah, gut feeling here. Like I'm shooting from Steph Curry range here. I'm picking K State to finish number two. I don't know why. I like the little Wildcat thing they got going on my screen here. It looks good. I got them at number two.
So again, I mean, again, it's easy to. There was a lot of teams. I had three teams in contention for my number three that didn't end up making it there. Oklahoma, Kansas State, and Dayton. Those were the teams that I considered, and then Oklahoma kind of fell off. Kansas State State. So you might not know why, but I'll make the case for you. Roscoe Scarlett is a talented ball handling guard entering his sophomore year. Shot 43% last season, scored 16 points per game. You've got Nathan Zilberman returning as well. Those are your two 10-plus point per game scorers last year. I like the size that they're bringing in. Anthony Wilson, I think, is a really good big if he's given a little bit more time as he enters his third year. He had some really nice stretches at the prep level. And then Christian Kelly is a nice defensive two-way wing. Good at getting inside the paint, great slasher. I think he profiles as maybe a second-round pick next season. He shot 58%, and the majority of that was inside. So I think they have the athletes, and they've got somebody at the point in Scarlett who can navigate the play, right? When you have a
Yeah.
team, and you know this, Sniper, when you have a team in college basketball that has a point guard who can create and set the tempo, those teams always just do so much better than their expectation.
Yeah, tough team to beat. And one thing I do want to say is that I feel like this team always gets the short end of the stick. Nobody's really looking for them on their radar. They're not the team that, oh, we got Kansas State tonight. We got to play our best game. They're kind of like, oh, Kansas State
Mm-hmm.
coming into town. Oh, we got to go to K State. It's snowing, and I don't want to be there. That's their type of vibe, and I think they could sneak up on people and win games that way.
So your number one, you said you thought we probably had the same. So yours, your number one, Texas.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it is, of
make
course.
make the case for number one, and then I got a question for you about Kansas, who you left off. So why Texas number one?
The big man in the middle, Lattimore. He's coming back. I mean, they were a disappointment in Hoopsteria last year. I know he's feeling the heat from that, and he's going back to a multi-million-dollar campus and a multi-million-dollar athletic program. He has to do more. Just absolutely has to be better, and I think he's been training. He's been working all summer to do that. They have a lot of good talent that's coming back from the guards and the wing perspective. They should just be overall better and ready to perform in hoops there. I don't care nothing about non-conference, conference. I think they will run through the Big 12. They should end up with less than 3 losses. But it's all about hoops there. If they're not a grade 8 team, it's another failure, and this man draft stock is going to plummet.
Well, I don't know if his draft stock's going to plummet if they don't not make the grade A. I don't know how many SWBA scouts are
Well,
like.
I didn't mean exactly on that. We're talking about age. We're talking about his inability to win at the highest level, and
I mean,
I guess
I wouldn't hold not winning in college though against the guy at when you're trying to project him up to the next level.
hold on. What? How do you say that when he's staying? So it's one thing if he's young. He never really had the chance to win. He's staying. Why do you
Because
stay?
he had to stay.
He
He's
was
a
a
sophomore.
freshman.
He's a sophomore, so the to and through rule, right? He had to stay for 2 seasons.
Oh, Arthur was a freshman last year. I could have sworn he was a
Yeah.
junior.
So how about that? I
Okay.
mean, so all that greatness that you just talked about was as a freshman.
Okay. Well, I thought he was a little bit older now.
Because
He
he
played
plays older
older.
than that. He does
He
play older
plays
than
older.
that. He has a
Okay, well,
maturity
that's
to
fair.
his game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so I
So,
think
so maybe he's not on a hot seat like I think he is.
I mean, I think the team is on a hot seat because especially when you have a team in SMU in Texas. I mean, Dallas and Austin are not rivals. I mean, Austin's hipster center of Texas right now. Dallas is old oil money, the original Cowboys, and I'm not talking football team here. You've got a team that just went out and got it, right? And yes, you have the injury to Benari James, and that's a big unknown, but they got a big transfer recruit. And if you're sitting there and you're Texas and you're saying, hold on, we're supposed to be the program of this state. And you don't get it done. I think, while Arthur Lattimore might not be. Who in college basketball is a bigger program in Texas that I'm not thinking of?
If we just gonna talk about programs in Texas, I mean, you got to bring up Houston, even though they absolutely just.
But
Uh,
but Texas doesn't sit around saying, they don't wonder, are we as good as a program as Houston, as Texas Tech, as Texas
they
A&M?
should. They should.
They should, but they don't. So, and that's not, we're not saying do they or don't they, right? We're saying this is Texas, this is UT, this is Austin.
This is the money talking. That's basically what you're saying.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. And so if they're gonna sit there and not have another run, and they're gonna have an elite prospect like Arthur Lattimore, like I think if you look at this group with Arthur, and I'm not comparing the skill set or the upside, so I'm gonna caution that because I know what the reaction is gonna be. But if you go back to the last time Texas had a really good program, they had a really awesome wing by the name of Kevin Durant, and they had a really awesome point guard by the name of DJ Augustine. And you look at this Texas team, and you've got a really good wing in Arthur Lattimore, and you've got a really talented point guard in Vincent Magic.
Yeah.
This is as good of a team as Texas has had since Kevin Durant and DJ Augustine. They need to. Head coach Rodney Terry needs to have a deep run this coming season. And you've got a great resource coming back with those two plus Anthony Young as your three to stretch the floor around those two guys.
Now you say that, but is he capable of coaching these kids to the promised land?
And that's the question I think that hovers around this team, right? That's the question that hovers around Texas. The talent's there.
Coaching. It's always coaching for some reason.
At the college level, it certainly is. I mean, at the pro level, it's a little bit of coaching. It's the coaching enough to make your team relevant. You know, it's like
Yeah.
when Atkinson was in Brooklyn, he made a really mediocre team good. Can you take a good team to great? And I think that's the big challenge at the next level. In college, it's can we put the pieces together? So Kansas is not one of your three teams. Why not?
They were okay last year. I felt like they got lucky towards the end of the season. They really. I'm not gonna say lucky because winning games is not lucky.
And 23-10. That's 12-2 in conference play. I don't know. That's a lot
Yeah,
of
but they
luck,
were
right?
struggling though, Marsh. They
were.
won. It
They
wasn't
were.
dominant.
No,
It wasn't
was not.
dominant.
It was the
And
second
they
half of the
kind of
season.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of hit this scene really hard with the 5-game, 6-game win streak. I just don't. The talent level, we're adding more teams this year. The talent's going up. I just don't see them being able to get away with that again. And I think that's the direction that they're going in as a program and as a team. They're falling off. They're losing that blue blood stamp, if you ask me.
Yeah, so this team, so Nas Hall is now listed at 6'4". Remember last season he was 6'6", listed as, he didn't shrink, but he was listed as 6'6", so we might be just getting a regression of reporting, let's call it. So for that reason, Kansas is not my number one team, but I still really believe in Nas Hall. I still think Jabbar Wilson and Jarvis Woodson are really great third and fourth options. I think the big question mark for this Kansas team, and I talked about him last week, is who fills the void left by Madison Miles. That if you want to be a great basketball team in college basketball, you need a handful of things. You need really good coaching, and I still think they have that in Bill Self. You need a really good roster with a lot of options, and they almost have that with their secondary options. They don't have they do, but do they have the top end talent? And I think Nas Hall is there. But if you look around the rest of the teams, we just talked about Texas. Texas has like three guys. I don't know that Kansas has three guys right now.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. Especially in this conference, I think everybody's gonna have like a two-man type of deal,
Exactly.
two-star type of team, and we don't know if can't well somebody can emerge, but we don't know who's going to emerge or if they ever emerge. And I don't think Bill Self is a good coach.
Well, I think we've had that conversation. I know you're not. I feel like you're not high on pretty much every coach. I think you think every coach should be fired and then he gets hired somewhere else.
Not true. I enjoy Mo Williams.
You got one coach. You got one coach you're a fan of. Everybody else is trash in the eyes of Sniper J. Doesn't matter. You could win a national championship. Trash.
Look,
Mick Cronin. Terrible. Got lucky.
Mick Cronin is a different breed. I had personal stories from people that Mick Cronin runs a different type of ship.
Can you share any of these personal stories that exemplify this ship?
You should know this guy. He's part of one of your teams. Well, he was a part of one of your teams. He kind of got he lost his way a little bit. Jacob Evans went to Cincinnati, played for Golden State, played under Mick Cronin. Yeah, one of my best friends grew up right down the street from me. Literally, he's right down. He's in off season right now. He's back overseas. He's doing his thing, but he played for him, and he told me some stories. He's like, I don't know if I want to go play for that little dude.
Okay, he's a fiery guy. Got some Napoleon complex.
Has a way with words. Has that God complex like every other high level coach does. Yes, 100%. But has a way with words, and they're not the correct way. I'll tell you.
That's fair. I think the framing of I was never one that enjoyed the coach that gets on you just to harp on you. Give us a little bit of positivity. I will say Jacob Evans I thought was going to be just a flawless fit. Late first round pick, 6'4", 6'5", 3-and-D wing. Perfect. 6'6". So, but that perfect, exactly what Golden State needed. Beyond, they barely needed anything, but
we definitely could talk about what happened off camera. I can't talk about it on camera because it was a bit of a situation that went on in the locker room
in Golden State.
That kind of yes, 100%.
So you're telling me that a locker room with Draymond Green had something going on in it?
Oh Jesus! Well, yeah. No, it was a little bit of Draymond, and then you had other veterans.
I'm just saying he's the guy that punches a teammate.
It was a lot going on, but Jacob was definitely supposed to be Moses Moody before Moses Moody. Let me put it that way.
Moses Moody can't even become Moses Moody, but I think we don't have enough time to listen to me grieve about Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga about what they could have been. But anyhow, okay. So Sniper's top three. Back on track. Sniper's top three in the Big 12. You've got who was Oklahoma? You've got Kansas State, and then we agree with Texas at the top. I've got in reverse order Texas, Kansas, and then Texas Tech to round things out. All right, Sniper, we're back next week with you on the Big East. I'll just say I was doing some research on the Big East, and this is a tough conference. And I don't mean that positively. So we will be diving into that next week with Sniper. Appreciate you jumping on, Sniper. We're back tomorrow morning here on SimWorld TV. The only place you can see the game, be the game.